Шановні колеги,
Esteemed colleagues, we continue our working day. The next event is results of a project for support for the Heavenly 100 families. Our guests are Tamila Tasheva, coordinator of the NGO Crimea.SOS, Igor Guryk, father of Roman Guryk, hero of the Heavenly 100, and Anastasiya Gaidukevych, head of Museum Affairs Department, Ukrainian Institute of National Memory. Good afternoon, esteemed colleagues. In fact, we would like to a little bit tell us how the project on assistance to families of the Heavenly 100 heroes, to musicians, to journalists, to families with many children, how this project started. We launched it in 2015, continued it in 2016. It was implemented by our Polish colleagues, Education for Democracy, with the support of the Solidarność International Foundation. The first project in 2015 we were implementing thanks to Lech Walesa award of Solidarność, and that was received by Mustafa Dzemilev, the leader of Crimean Tatar people, and the second award was received by Zhanna Nemtsova, the daughter of Boris Nemtsov, who was killed in Russia. And for us, for our Polish partners, for all the families of Heavenly 100 heroes, it was very important to receive such assistance either from Mustafa Dzemilev or from Zhanna Nemtsova, who's Russian, but she decided to give this money to assist those people who suffered in the result of military conflict or the events that took place in 2013-2014 in Maidan. We understand that the victims that they were in Maidan, they were not in vain, and the contribution of every person is important for the development of democracy and democratic values in Ukraine. We need to remember all the heroes who died, who were killed in Maidan, in ATO zone, on the territory of Crimea. We remember Rishat Ametov, and we remember him all the time. Talking about specific results, you see the results of the project. In 2015, we provided support to 187 families. 107 of them were the families of Heavenly 100 heroes. 6 were of the killed journalists, families of killed families, 46 of musicians, and 48 families with many children. Talking about 2016, even though the project hasn't finished yet, but as of now, the assistance was received by 160 families, 107 the families of Heavenly 100 families, 33 of musicians, and 15 families with many children, and the journalists, families of journalists. And you know that is $1,000 of assistance per family of a hero of Heavenly 100 hero. In some cases, it would be divided when the parents would receive some money and the wife would receive some money. So this is the accumulated amount which would be paid to the family of this or that hero. Talking about that project, which we have been implementing in 2016, we introduced some amendments, and in 2016 we were providing legal assistance to the families of heroes of Heavenly 100 Our lawyer was giving the legal advice, and we are ready to help in the future with legal advice if needed. And this, as is mentioned, 100 families in 2016 received such a legal support. Why we decided to provide such type of support? We understand that the system of free legal aid cannot work always very easily, or some NGO, or it's easier for families to address the organizations with which they have been working, and there are different social privileges outlined by Ukrainian legislation, but and that is why we were making such explanations. We are preparing for publication such a small legal textbook which will have all the information on different privileges which are provided to the families that fell victims. So this is like step-by-step guidebook, which in the future will be very useful for the families. Also, I would like to say that during implementation, 2-year implementation of that project, we talked a lot to families, and we heard we had the feedback that we would like to talk about transformation and memory, so that the memory about people who were killed, so that it stays. And that is why today we want to have this small discussion on that, and to work with that in the future, besides with the help of the NGO, the families of Heavenly 100. We launched the procedure of receiving the status of the hero. Rishat Ametov, you know that in Crimea he was the first blood. This was the person who started the piquet near the governmental building, and then he was detained by people in masks, and then he was found killed. And he's also one of the Heavenly 100. I believe that Igor Guryk will talk about that a little more. We believe that this project is very important for further initiative to support and continue working. We thank the Polish government, the Solidarność Foundation, which organized this award, and we thank Mustafa Djemilev and Jana Nemtsova, who decided to give such support, and we thank all the heroes who were killed during the events in Maidan in 2013-2014. We thank the families who let their children, let their husbands go and fight for our independence in the East. We are grateful to families of journalists who were executing their professional duty and who were killed in ATO zone, to musicians, to families with many children. So we thank all you for all that your children or your relatives did. Igor Guryk. Good afternoon, I'm Igor Guryk. I'm the father of the hero of the Heavenly 100, Roman Guryk. First of all, I would like to express my gratitude to Polish people, to the Polish organization Solidarność, which made it possible, which helped, first of all, and continues helping Ukrainians, our country, in gaining our independence and fight against foreign aggressor. And also I would like to thank Crimea.SOS organization, thanks to which we are able to receive this assistance. Also, I would like to thank Mustafa Jemilev and the daughter of Boris Nemtsov, Zhanna, who made such a thing, and she, being the citizen of the Russian Federation, decided to help our families and all others who suffered in the events taking place today. It is important because seeing such a support, the families understand that even for the families it is important. We see that there is a support, we are not forgotten. And I don't know how to really explain it, but it is very important for us. Everyone understands that the main thing is memory about your close ones, and also it is important to achieve the ideals for which they gave their lives. And first of all, that's the expression of such a memory. And today, the memory is commemorated differently in different forms in different spheres. But we would like to have more of that, and just respect to an elderly person. It's not just renaming the streets, but like helping an elderly person would be the best memory about the Heavenly Hundred, about what's happening. And this will lead us to ideals to which Maidan was standing, and for which our people continue to fight. What should be the policy of memory in modern Ukraine? Each one of us has to put efforts into preserving this memory for its propaganda, for explaining it to young generations, because these are the stories on which future generations will grow, so that we avoid what happened in our country, so that such things do not happen in the future. We need to correctly explain about all these events to young generation and this whole history, which continues to develop in our country.
Всіх, хто продовжує.
I thank everyone who continues to defend our motherland.
І як воно відбувається в нашій державі.
I believe that also the representative of the Ukrainian Institute of National Memory will tell you more about the commemoration of memory. Anastasiya Gaidukevych. Thank you. Thank you, Crimea.SOS, for this initiative, to have this briefing, the roundtable, for all the work that you've been doing. And I would like to say you for your initiative as to the commemorating the heroes. Each one of your letters, each one of your letters are taken into account, and they are important. But as to remembering these events, I would like to say a few things. In different regions, you can see different practices of remembering. It's very easy in some museums. They are trying to go to the some simple mechanism of commemoration. People say that we have done that, and usually it's done during 2 dates which are related to Revolution of Dignity. 21st as the Day of Dignity and Freedom, and then the Day of the Heroes of Heavenly Hundred. But there is a museum, there are different initiatives. We are trying not just to commemorate the memory of those who were killed, but also to remember the values and to emphasize on that and ask questions and try to explain everything based on those values. Most of the information on what is done as to commemorating the memory is the most important thing. And Igor Guryk, as the director of the museum, will talk about that. There are many difficulties that we see when implementing this project. And why I am thankful to the organization, because that is important when we when we are talking about how important it is to remember the Revolution of Dignity. What should be the forms of that, or maybe we should be asking questions, taking into account the audience with which we are communicating. There's a big problem how in museums, in school museums, how to talk about that, about the perished heroes of the Heavenly Hundred and those who were killed in ATO zone, how to talk about these things with the new generation, with those who are resisting to that. And we would like the issue of Revolution of Dignity and national memory shouldn't be, we wouldn't like it to be marginalized only to those people who participated directly in these meetings. And I thank you for initiating this roundtable, and I hope that during the panel discussion we'll be able to discuss it in more detail and maybe get to some joint proposals. We will finish the press briefing, and the public discussion will take place in a few minutes.